So although this so-called pleasure, everyone talks about, it will lead to misery. It must, because it is a pleasure in the mode of passion. And Prabhupada explains this in the purport of that verse in the 18th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, or 17. Krishna says that happiness, which is like nectar at first, but poison at the end, is in the mode of passion. And Prabhupada explains, a boy, a girl, they meet, there's some passion, they enjoy sex life, and then what? Then they get children and family, and then you have to work, you have to maintain the children, send them to school, and then you have to, cure their diseases, all of this. So the cumbersome, the piling of encumbrance that comes by sex life, grihastha, is really big compared to a brahmachari who is free. Brahmachari, he wants to sleep, he sleeps. He wants to eat, he eats. Whatever he wants to do, he can. And grihastha is not like this, because he's got duties towards the family member. So his time is not flexible as much as a brahmachari. Okay, continue reading.
Yes, Prabhu. Of course, one who thinks that family life is too big a responsibility can forego it and thus avoid a lot of trouble. Family responsibility is very great. Therefore, if a man feels he cannot accept the responsibility, he should remain a brahmachari, a celibate student, a person who practices the science of brahmacharya under the care of spiritual master automatically becomes 75% free from material entanglement.
Okay, did you read this? 75% free from material
Yes,
entanglement.
Prabhu, 75.
This is just such a huge number. Free from material entanglement. It's unbelievably powerful to remain a brahmachari, you see. Because after all, the goal of life is to go back home, back to Godhead, not to remain attached to matter. And wife and children are material objects. We cannot say it's spiritual, the relationship between a devotee, husband and wife. It's spiritual. It's not spiritual. It's spiritualized. We should understand the distinction. Spiritual male and female, it's only Krishna and the gopis or his queens. There's no other question of spiritual. There cannot be male and female spiritual relationship amongst us, the jivas. It's not possible. It can be spiritualized. That's another thing. That means spiritualized means the best use of a bad bargain. To be in griha, in the household, is a bad bargain, but that can be used for spiritual advancement also. That means you're using it, so it's the best use of a bad bargain. And it can be done to find a proper stability and to feel spiritual progress in Grihastha Ashram is possible. It's a fact. But it comes with a lot of material responsibilities. And that we have to be ready for this. We should not enter Grihastha Ashram and keep the mentality of a brahmachari. No way. A brahmachari can think about himself only if he wants. He only has to maintain himself, But Grihastha cannot be like this. He must carry out the duty. He must be ready to offer protection to the wife. Protection to the wife is not just physical. Actually, most of the protection that is done is against her own mind. Because the mind of a woman is torturing women, always. Women are always tortured by their own mind. They are depressed, they're anxious, they're fearful. So men must protect her against her very own mind. Now, if you're not even capable of dealing with your own mind, how about two minds plus one that is a woman mind? You will not be able to do it. Therefore, strict training is very much required before. If I had done a strict brahmacharya training before getting married, I would have saved some of the worst suffering in my life. I'm not speaking this just to scare you. This is a fact. Some of the worst suffering in my entire life was in the beginning of my marriage life. Now, of course, I won't get into details, but you can believe me. And I had cancer before getting married. I broke my meniscal, my knee, my entire knee was messed up. I've done, I mean, I've got a really bad teenage, and still the suffering I experienced in the beginning of my marriage life was on top of more than cancer. Okay, of course, my cancer was not a very high degree cancer, but still, I had to go through the chemotherapy and radiotherapy. All this 6 months, the hair starting to lose. It was in 2011. So, and even before my wife, because in the West we have this habit of getting girlfriends and all. Every time I had some attachment to women, that was the worst. That was always the worst suffering you can get. So women, really, it is just like this. You cannot bypass. You cannot say I will touch, but I won't get burned. Right? You cannot say I'll touch fire and won't get burned. If you want fire, you get burned. If you want to touch fire, you're gonna get burned. So how to minimize that burn? How to be able to handle fire? Just like a 1-year-old kid who touches fire, he will burn himself. But someone who's more agile, he will be able to manipulate fire better without getting burned that much. But even, for example, in Singapore, there used to be a devotee who worked in the welding. Welding, right? They have to weld. I don't know if I'm saying this properly, but metal, right? You have to weld two metal together, so that very bright thing. So although they've been doing these things for so many years, they're expert at it. They know how to do. Still, some moment of inattention, the melted metal will fall on. So I saw these devotees in Singapore. They have scars, huge scars, because as soon as that melted metal touches your skin, immediately there's bubble. It bursts into a bubble, 3rd degree burned. So even though we're very, very careful in Grihastha ashram, the very nature of this ashram, it will bring suffering. That we have to understand. So one has to be very much ready for this. And if one understands that, why should I go through this if there's that much suffering, if I'm capable to remain brahmachari my entire life? If one has got that intelligence and that determination, then here Prabhupada has said it, 75%. Okay. All right, you can finish this.
Hare Krishna, Dheeraj Prabhu. Today, however, no one. Yes, Prabhu. Today, however, no one wants to undergo the austerities of brahmacharya. Everyone wants to remain unmarried but also engaged in sex. In this way, people are losing all good character. To maintain a woman who is nothing more than a prostitute and engage in illicit sex with her for producing children is sinful. Such children are unwanted, Varna Sankar, and in this way, society becomes degraded.
Yes, so this is the standard of Western civilization now, is that they don't get married, but they have sex. They call it girlfriend, boyfriend. So why? Because actually the men are intelligent, the women are being cheated. The men are intelligent, they know that what I want is sex. So why should I take the trouble of maintaining a woman, then getting some children, then getting only one woman? If a man wants sex, why just one? You can have many. You exploit this one, you leave her, you exploit the next, you leave her. That is the general mentality of men in the West. I know. I had many so-called friends that when some girls would come, so-called girlfriend, they would be very nice and everything, and talk with them and laugh at that. And when the girls would go away, they would speak about these same girls in such degrading manner. Absolutely. So this is the mentality. They're like an object, that I want to exploit that woman, and I don't care really what happens to her after. And the less intelligent women, they get cheated by this. Prabhupada said actually women like to be exploited by men. So that exploitive mentality, to be exploited, that's why they require protection. Because if a man tries to exploit them, they will agree. So they must be protected. And this is what happens in the West now. They don't even get married and they get so many children. Even in my own family, many of them got children without being married. So, and Prabhupada says here, Varna Sankara, right? Unwanted child. Unwanted child means, actually, it can mean exactly what it says. The child is not wanted and it comes, right? Because sometimes they just want illicit sex. And even though they use all these contraceptive methods, after all, karma is the deciding factor. If these two people are meant to have a child together, even though they use contraceptive, they will get a child. So that the child is unwanted and they don't want him and the child is coming. And then some who are more decent, they decide to keep. And those who are even more sinful, they will kill in the belly of the mother. So the mother will kill her own child in order to continue that illicit sex. Just see how degraded society has become. And this is a standard. This is not something that is seen as degraded in the West. It's just like this. And I know in India, of course, it's starting more and more. So how much civilization has degraded? Yes. Well, life does. No, well, of course, you have read, right? The third canto, the movement of the living entity. Have you read those
Yes,
verses?
Prabhu, I have learned. I have read.
Yeah. So the
There,
soul
it is also
enters
said
through
that
the
worms are our brothers.
worms. Yeah, worms are biting the poor child in the womb. So you see the. Wait a second. Let me just see if I can. It's fixed. Okay. Anyway, so the soul enters through the particle of male semen. So through the male semen, the soul enters the womb of the mother, and during the first night, there is emulsification of semen and blood or ovum. Okay, and then immediately it starts to grow already, and then it says like for after a few days it grew already, and after 7 days it's like a plum or something. Or anyway, it's all described. So life is there. If life is not there, the scientists, they say no, no, symptoms of life, symptoms of, okay, first of all, they do not know what life is. But you don't know what life is, okay, and you're going to start talking about symptoms. Now, why the embryo is growing if there's no life, right? Why is it growing at all? So that they cannot answer. They cannot do also. Why sometimes the child does not grow in the embryo? Because sometimes children die in the womb. So why do they stop growing? So this growth is the significance of life. It shows that there's life inside. Otherwise, how is it happening? So life is already there, and to say that, oh, I shall kill now because I cannot see it yet, or this is a very foolish philosophy. That means that someone who's not feeling consciousness can be killed. That is the philosophy, right? So if I don't like you and you're sleeping or you're under chloroform or something, I can kill you. Is that a very good? Or even sometimes some people, they are very much disconnected from reality. They have some mental issues and they're like always in their own bubble. Then I can kill that person. Is it not? Trisomic, or some words is there. So no, life is definitely there. And actually, Prabhupada said that those souls who are being killed in the womb of their mother are actually very sinful. Because if you kill children in your own womb, you have to enter the womb of so many mothers and never see the sunlight, Prabhupada says. That means you're entering, you're being killed. You're entering again, you're being killed. You're entering again, you're being killed. Just imagine. So complete mad civilization. They don't know.
Hare Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes.
Prabhu, uh, it's told that through illicit sex, unwanted progeny comes, right? Prabhu,
Yes.
so let's see if these people, the ones who commit illicit sex and they have kids, like can those kids be Krishna conscious? First thing. Second thing is why are they considered unnecessary?
Yeah, okay. So like I was coming to this point. So the first meaning of unwanted is this, is that the child was not wanted. They didn't desire a child, as opposed to Vedic culture when you're supposed to get ready and prepare. Garbhadana samaskar, right? When the husband and wife, they get ready to beget the child. Okay, there's a lot of preparation, This has been lost, this science. It's practically dead. But for another aspect of unwanted means the child will be born with demonic quality. Because there's a huge science that surrounds the time of conception, the way of conception. All these things are so intricate. And actually, for our two children, I can discuss a bit my personal example. So for our two children, Krishna Sudam and Kalindi, we both did the Garbhadana Samaskar as best as we could. Because now, in modern times, it's not possible to follow everything. It requires being born and raised in Vedic culture and having, brahmanas that know what they're doing, and elder women in the family. So many things is there. But best as we could. Maybe I can look at a few things together and just see if I can find this. There was one devotee who did this Garbhadana Samskara. Okay, here it is. He compiled, many verses from different scriptures. So I took guidance from that book. I have it in a PDF format. I'll be sharing the screen now. Okay, can you see?
Yes, Prabhu. Prabhu, should I read it?
Yes.
Okay, one moment. Okay, you read the red?
Okay, Prabhu.
Or yellow and red. Yeah, yellow and red.
Okay, Prabhu. Okay. Garbhadana Samskara is the first among Brahma Samskaras. It has to be carefully understood and practiced. The word Garbha means the womb, while the word Adhana means place of the seed or impregnation. Therefore, Garbhadana means impregnation of the womb with the semen for the purpose of begetting a child. Garbha Sandarata Yena Karmana Tat Garbhadana Metayanu Gatartha Karmanam Dheyam. The activities by which one prepares to approach one's wife for the purpose of conception.
We don't have to put too much important on this. Okay.
Prabhu, that means
Okay, you can read
today's
this.
population is unwanted, like full of
Yes,
unwanted children.
yes. Why the world is like this?
Yeah.
Why the world is in a mess? That's because of unwanted children. You see, if you eat meat, if you drink alcohol, if you have illicit sex, if you gamble, you are committing sins. And this is done by unwanted population. Unwanted population means what? Means they are atheists. Especially, that is the meaning, is demonic. Krishna speaks in Bhagavad Gita, there are two natures. There is divine and demonic. Now, it doesn't mean, your question, you're saying, can a child like this become Krishna conscious? Yes, he can, but it's going to be harder, definitely. Because Krishna consciousness is not made for demons. It's made for those who have godly qualities. Now, Bhakti Yoga is so powerful that, yes, it so occurs sometimes that even people with demonic qualities will be turned. Okay. But Krishna consciousness is not something that, you're a demon and then one day, boom, you're a devotee. It's gradual. You know that verse in Bhagavatam that those who have performed all Vedic rituals and sacrifices can chant Hare Krishna. That verse is there, that those who chant Hare Krishna, it's the proof that they have performed all Vedic rituals and ritualistic ceremonies. So all of us have gone through how many lives, do you think, doing this karma kanda section of the Vedas, jnana kanda section? We went through it all. Of course, we cannot remember, we cannot feel it, we don't know, but it's a fact. We were there in different bodies, we had different activities, different mindset, but we were part of this Vedic culture. Somehow or other, we had some connection. It's not possible that now we're here taking the beats, chanting Hare Krishna without having gone through this purificatory process. Even Karma Kanda, although devotees, we bash on it, right? We bash this, yes, that's exactly. You can read this.
Persons who chant the holy name of your lordship must have executed all kinds of
You can read the
austerity.
whole thing, yeah? You can read the whole verse.
Oh, how glorious are they whose tongues are chanting your holy name. Even if born in the families of dog eaters, such persons are worshipable. Persons who chant the holy name of your lordship must have executed all kinds of austerities and fire sacrifices and achieved all the good manners of the Aryans. To be chanting the holy name of your lordship, they must have bathed at the holy place of pilgrimage, studied the Vedas, and fulfilled everything required.
Now, has any of you done all this in this life?
Not at all,
Definitely
Prabhu.
not.
No, Prabhu.
So that
Yes,
means
I
it was
bathed,
done.
Prabhu,
Yes. Yeah,
in the
so that's
river.
good. Yeah. So here, what they say, holy place of pilgrimage, studied the Vedas, fulfill everything required, develop the good manners, executed austerities, fire sacrifice. That means we've done that in past lives. And now we are fortunate enough to chant Hare Krishna. Even in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, those who have acted piously in this life and previous lives can take to devotional service. It's not anybody, So a demon cannot become a devotee. I mean, it can happen in rare instances by the mercy of a pure devotee, but it's for demigods, basically. There's two types of living entities, demons and devatas. So now the great majority is demons. Just like now we're having this meeting, only 9 of us are here, 13 anyway. So, but what is everybody else doing on their phone or on their laptop? They're playing games, right? They won't take. Why they won't take? Because demonic. You tell them, no, you can do what you're doing, you can work, but please just chant Hare Krishna. No, why should I do this? Even this small thing they cannot do. Before in Vedic culture, even Shudras were pious to some extent, because they would follow. They would serve the Brahmanas or the Kshatriyas or whatever, and they would have some regulative principles, and they would also believe in the next birth. But what is now? Although they want to appear to be good people, just like now, I don't know if you've heard the truckers in Canada. They
Yes,
drive.
Prabhu.
They're all together. Yeah. So
But just last night it happened in Finland too.
oh yeah, they're
They're
starting.
all over the news.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Finland.
So this is the story is that Canada, the prime minister said that now if you want to use the highways, you have to be vaccinated. That was a law.
Yes,
They tried to
Prabhu.
push that law. Yeah. So the truckers, those who have huge truck, they decided to
Prabhu, Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
manifest.
Even in Tirupati also, they are making that we need to get vaccinated.
To use the highway.
To go to the temple,
And
Prabhu.
no, Prabhu, in Tirupati Dham.
To go
In
to
the
the
main
temple.
temple, Prabhu, my
In the
God.
Dham, Prabhu Dham.
So if you want to go to Tirupati,
We need to get
you must
vaccinated.
be vaccinated.
Tirupati Dham is located in the hill of hills. So in Andhra Pradesh, Prabhu. So what we need to do is that no, if we need to step inside the hill, we need to show the vaccination certificate.
Yeah. How many of you got vaccinated?
Yes,
I
Prabhu, they
got
are allowing
Prabhu.
only the people who are vaccinated.
I am vaccinated.
Yes,
Okay,
Prabhu.
Dimitri, and who else?
Prabhu
We also
Mahāprabhu.
Okay. Yeah, most of you, huh? So anyway, yeah. So there's a lot of adverse effect happening from these vaccine. Now more and more people are starting to speak about that. Even the UK government released a study, I think, a few days ago, saying that yes, there's some adverse effect.
Yes.
So if
Yes.
they try to push you to get a second shot, a third shot, a fourth shot, try to resist. Try to not do it. Try to find some excuse or what, because it might have some effect in the long term. Best thing is if you can find this. You see this? Ivermectin.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
That has been proven, and it's been used with tens and thousands of patients. In fact, the whole Andhra Pradesh, I think it was Andhra Pradesh, right? Last year there was so much COVID cases, and all of a sudden it dropped down so low, and they didn't say what they did. The Indian government did not speak out, but we could see that they distributed this little COVID packs to all the citizens of Andhra Pradesh, and what was in there, one of the medicine that was there is ivermectin. So this, as soon as you get the fever, you take like 2 pills like 3 times a day or something. The prescription is there, and then it will get cured. Anyway, you can also even get cured by sleeping. My father, he got it last week. He simply rested. He took some rest. He got 3 days of fever and 4 days of recovery after that, and he was okay. Tadvavid Prabhu did the same thing. He got it also, Tadvavid Prabhu. He took Ayurvedic medicine to boost up the immunity, and he was fine after. So anyway, so to go back to what we're speaking about, so they're trying to push this vaccine, right? So they're saying in Canada, if you want to use the highway, you got to get vaccinated. So those truckers, they started to gather together so many trucks, and they go from city to city, and they manifest like, no, we don't care about your law. Here we are, we're not vaccinated and we're driving. So, and now a lot of people praise them. They say these people are good. They fight for our freedom. But what is this freedom? What is it that they want? All they want is sense gratification. This is a whole show, it's only hypocrisy. Ultimately, why they feel like this? We want freedom. We want freedom. What are you going to do with your freedom? You want freedom to go to the restaurant, right? Because all the restaurants are closed in so many countries. What are you going to do there? You're going to kill cows. So if I let you free, you're going to go cut the throat of cows. That's what you're going to do, basically, because there's no difference between eating the meat and killing the cow. It's the same thing. If I let you free, you're going to go to the bar and you're going to have your alcohol. You're going to damage your very own body, and you're going to get drunk and break a bottle in someone's head, and what are you going to do next? You're going to go gamble, and you may be going to win the money of someone who just committed suicide, right? Or you're going to have illicit sex with a woman, you're going to make her pregnant, and you're going to go away. So that's why you want to be free. So you see how double-faced they are. Now, of course, there's different level. There's those who are very sinful, and there's less. But where is that person? First of all, it doesn't exist. But where is that person that is vegetarian? It's very rare already. Okay. And even if you're vegetarian, at least you're like a pigeon, because pigeon are also vegetarian, So at least you're not very harmful. That's why. That's all. You're just becoming to be less harmful. Doesn't mean you're good. Like a pigeon is like, everybody sees a pigeon, they don't care, right? It doesn't harm anybody. So you're like this. Now, who is vegetarian, doesn't gamble, doesn't have illicit sex, and doesn't do intoxication? It's impossible. This is only the devotee who can do this. So therefore, only the devotee is actually a good person, because he actually causes no harm. Not only he causes no harm, he actually really helps, and real help on the level of the soul. Now everybody is praying these truckers, they're saying, yeah, you're good, you're fighting and all. But we don't buy this nonsense, because, okay, you get your freedom back, so what? You're still gonna die. Just like some people now, they say, I survived from COVID. Does that mean you're not gonna die? Okay, you dodged it now. Does that mean that death is not coming? Or some people who are really much anti-vaccine, they say, oh, I'm not getting the vaccine, I'm not gonna get the adverse effect. That's all right. Does that mean you're not going to get sick and die one day also? So the real problem you see is death. That's the thing. And these whole people, why COVID is fearful? Because some people die from it. That's all. Otherwise, the flu, every year we get the flu, right? It's already there. But because that one is causing death, they're afraid. So therefore, the real problem is not the flu. It's not a virus. The real problem is death. That is the real thing that people don't want. But this will come. So therefore, if you don't try to help people on how to get freed from death, how to get released from that, you're not actually a good person. Because why? You're just making them more materialistic. Those truckers that are fighting for freedom, if they get that freedom, it's just going to be, people are going to become more materialistic. That's all. They're going to be, again, free to commit their sinful activities. So where is goodness? So that's why Prabhupada, many times when he was arguing, having some discussions with some outsiders on this point, Prabhupada would always say that how can you do good if you don't know what goodness is? And then people would say, no, but there are some things that are good in themselves, just like helping an old lady cross the street. And they would give an argument, and Prabhupada would say, how can you do good if you don't know what goodness is? He would bring it back to this, so you must know what is good. Then only you can know if you're a good person or not. But that goodness for them is very simple. It's calculated in terms of how much sense gratification can I get. If you can help me get sense gratification, you're a good person. If you cannot help me, you're not a good person. That's all. So they will cover up their things with so many names, right? Philanthropist, communist or socialist or whatever it is. There's so many ism is there. But ultimately is, how can you gratify your senses? Some people think that gratifying our senses is easier through a communist system. Others think, no, it has to be capitalist, socialist, whatever. Ultimately is, you want something for your tongue, you want something for your genitals, you want something for your belly. Yeah, that's all. It boils down to this. So how can these people be called wanted population? They're unwanted. Wanted population are those who are obedient to God. Those who are obedient to Krishna, they are wanted. The devotees are wanted, And
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
highest.
Prabhu,
Hare
here
Krishna.
also showed quoted from one verse from Prabhupada books that they at the time of conception, whatever is in the mind of the person, according to that,
Yeah.
the subtle body will be acquired of the child.
Yeah.
Maybe this was
So-
some verse from Rig Veda or something.
Yeah. So we were coming to this. Yeah. So that's why it's so important at the time of conceiving that both the husband and wife be very much in a spiritual atmosphere, a spiritual state, So the verse you quoted is there, and just one moment. Procreation. So in the incident of Kardama Muni, Devahuti, and also of Diti, and because Diti, she begot the demons, right? The Daityas came from Diti, and it's because she approached her husband at nighttime, at an inauspicious hour, and because of this, she begot demons. Just imagine. Let me see. Okay, I will share my screen here. Okay, let me just. Okay, who wants to read this?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. The learned Kashyapa
Yeah.
said, because of your minds being polluted, because of defilement of the particular time, because of your negligence of my directions, and because of your being apathetic to the demigods, everything was inauspicious. The conditions for having good progeny in society are that the husband should be disciplined in religious and regulative principles, and the wife should be faithful to the husband. In Bhagavad Gita 7.11, it is said that sexual intercourse, according to the religious principle, is representation of Krishna consciousness. Before engaging in sexual intercourse, both husband and the wife must consider their mental conditions, the particular time, the husband's direction, and obedience to demigods. According to Vedic society, there is suitable auspicious time for sex life, which is called the Garbhadhan. Diti neglected all the principles of scriptural injunction, and therefore, although she was very anxious for auspicious children, she was informed that her children would not be worthy to be sons of Brahman.
Yes. So Diti, she insisted to have sexual intercourse in the evening without having any preparations before. So therefore, Kashyapa told her that you will have demons, and that is, of course, Yaksha and Hiranyakashipu, the two first demons.
But Prabhu,
Okay.
my question
Yes.
is like, if the population now is so demoniac, then how, like, it is prediction there that Sankirtan movement will spread. So how it will be like possible if the population is demonic?
Yeah, so one thing that Prabhupada said is that we are still killing demons, but not with weapons. We are killing the demoniac qualities and making them into devotees. So there are many persons who will become devotees who are acting as demons at the moment. Again, as we said, you cannot really be a demon if you become a devotee, you know, so there's definitely some piety there. It's just that at the moment it's covered, it's waiting to be. So by preaching, by distributing books, many people will join. It's a fact. The movement will grow, and grow, you know. And on the other side, demons will be killed. Because I mean, by killing, I mean really killing the body, you know. Not by us directly, but Prabhupada said it, you know. There will be war, pestilence. There will be so many things that will clean up, we can say. Just like by nature arrangement, a snake will beget, you know, dozens of baby snakes. But nature arrangement says that snakes can eat snakes. So Durga Devi, she will make arrangement for demons to kill themselves. Like Prabhupada said, you know, I throw the bomb on your head, you throw the bomb on my head, and we're dead. So this is going to happen. There's definitely going to be wars, you know, to diminish the burden of those demons, you know. So,
So Prabhu, a war is upcoming.
Bhakta Ayappa is saying here, what will happen after 10,000 years? Demons capture again and there would be no more Hare Krishna. Well, this is what's predicted. Prabhupada said only for 10,000 years, and after that, Kaliyuga will come in full swing, you know. So that's why we have 10,000 years to get out of this mess. I don't want to be there when there's no fruits, no grains, no milk, no rain. We can hardly see the sun. Can you imagine? Can you imagine that you cannot see the sunshine? Just this.
Sorry, bro.
I'm telling you from... Yes, you don't know that? It's there in the Srimad Bhagavatam. It's described. You can go 12 canto. Two, I think. You go. You can show Dhiraj Prabhu. Haribol. Okay. So 12 Canto chapter 2, you can start reading from text 2. Or even text 1, it's fine. Translation only. Yeah, 12:2. Oh, Himanshu is presenting. Okay. So these days are coming. That means if we don't make it this life, then how many more lives do we have, you know? And okay, go ahead. Seems that you have a slow internet connection, Himanshu Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Would you like me to present? Maybe I can present. Okay, I'll take over, okay? So here it is. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, who wants to read?
Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Anyone?
Sukadev Goswami.
Yeah.
Sukadev Goswami said, 10, O king, religion, truthfulness, cleanliness, tolerance, mercy, duration of life, physical strength, and memory will all diminish day by day because of the powerful influence of the age of Kali.
So all these things are diminishing. It's a fact. If you go 100 years ago, anywhere on the planet, these things were much more there, you know. Physical strength, memory, And day by day, each day, all this is leaving, Why? Again, Varna Sankara, unwanted population. Okay.
In Kaliyuga, wealth alone will be considered the sign of a man's good birth, proper behavior and fine qualities, and a love and justice will be applied only on the basis of one's power.
Right. So it's true. Now, if you see someone with money, everybody thinks he's a good man. He's successful, right? Just like this Elon Musk, right? Elon Musk, the Tesla, and he's got the company also, do so-called spaceship. Anyway, he's one of the richest person on earth. So he's very much respected. But he's a rascal number one. He's an atheist. He said it. I saw one short interview, that some men asked him, "Do you pray?" And he said, "No." And then he said, "Even when I had leukemia or something, like a big disease he had, he said, even when I had this disease, I did not pray." And then the other man says, "Oh, wow, that is really not praying." So he said it with he was proud. He was proud to say,
Also,
even
Hare
when
Krishna,
I'm yes.
this entire company of SpaceX is a scam, right? The whole company is a scam, such a big scam.
Well, the whole as soon as you speak of NASA or any one of them, it's a scam, Prabhu. They have never went to the moon, That is, they've cheated the entire world. I mean, you go to the moon in some 1960, what? I don't know, 69 or so, with a computer that is not even 1% as powerful as I have here.
They just said that they manually navigate.
Please, And then you're telling me you're going all the way there with a computer that is much, much less strong. That's what I'm holding in my hand. Okay, you land your little capsule there, a couple of guys, and when the guy comes down the stairs, there's already a camera looking at him coming down the stairs, and he's supposed to be the first man. Who's the guy who's holding the camera? First thing. Then the trotter, the fire, when it comes down, there's no dust or anything. I mean, the whole thing. Anyway, I've seen so many proofs. I've done a short video also. There's a video recorded on how they get the blue earth. Yeah, actually, it's through a hub, through a round window, and they just fly over the earth, high over the earth, and it's a whole scam, Prabhu. It's a whole scam. They cannot go. They cannot. It's not possible. Prabhupada said it. Prabhupada was he said they have never gone. It's just, it's a whole scam. And he was completely convinced, and it's a fact. Even this Mars thing, I'm calling you in India, and I've got controlling a robot that is on another planet. Please, I'm not buying all this nonsense stuff. It's all a scam.
Also, Prabhu,
it's just
some people had shared pictures of Canada, Devon Island, a place in Canada, and those pictures were exactly matching with those pictures of Mars they're putting on NASA. So many people are saying that
even before also. Even in Prabhupada's time, they said they had taken pictures of Mars.
It is actually a private island in near Greenland or something, Prabhu.
Yeah. So they'll be cheating. This is there. Cheating, right? Cheating will always be there. So especially now, because they're atheists, their whole point is how to disprove that God exists. And if you cannot go to other planet, if you're just trapped here, that's a proof that you're under control. You're under a certain condition. You're meant to stay here, and that they just don't want to admit. And if they cannot do it, they will at least fake it. The whole, all these people who control the planet are demons at the moment, and their whole goal is to push atheism. That's all. Okay, you can continue reading. Men and women.
Hare Krishna. Men and women will live together merely because of superficial attraction, and success in business will depend on deeds. Womanliness and manliness will be judged according to one's expertise in sex, and a man will be known as a Brahmana just by his wearing a thread.
Just see, 5,000 years ago, things that were completely unthinkable at the time. Not even 5,000. You speak about this 300 years ago, people would not believe that these things would come. That a man and woman will live together only because of sex, and that to show that you're a real woman or a real man, it's according to your expertise in sex. You see how everybody now is training, right? All the athlete, I mean the famous person, they all have like some very muscular body, male and female. It was not there before. Even if you go back only 50 years ago, there was not that much of bodybuilding. That thing is increasing more and more. Now you see girls, it's only about this. Just like today, I downloaded Instagram. I was thinking of starting to preach on Instagram, and there's this option of what, discover or something. I wanted to see what is it. As soon as I press this, you only see girls in a laundry or bikini or what. So it's simply about sex, And Prabhupada said that women who are not protected, they become like prostitute, and it's a fact. You see, they're independent. What do they do with their Instagram? They become prostitute. Now you don't need to, these people don't need to go see pornography anymore. They just see the normal girls. Every girl is a prostitute now. You just see her own Instagram account, and you're seeing this thing, So, and this is happening, and it's a fact. Men, women get together because of sex. If sex is disturbed, they will break. This is I've heard it so many times. Some guys that I know, if there's no sex in our relationship wouldn't work. What does that mean? That means what you want is this, that's all. There's no question of relationship. Why are you speaking of relationship? You just want that thing. And if you don't get it, you'll go away and you'll go find it somewhere else. Okay, now we're speaking about, okay, you can continue. Read text number 5.
A person will be judged unholy if he does not have money, and hypocrisy will be accepted as virtue. Marriage will be arranged simply by verbal agreement, and a person will think he is fit to appear in public if he has merely taken a bath.
Yeah. So before they used to decorate themselves with so many jewels and all, and now in China I see so many people walking in what do you call that? Pajamas. I don't know if you see this in India, but here I see so many people walking in pajamas. They feel so comfortable, and they just go out and they walk in their pajamas. I mean, they have no understanding of what cleanliness is. No, they think they sell all these products to be clean. Like that those small things they sell, disinfectant for the hands, hand sanitizer. It has alcohol in it. Alcohol is polluted. Alcohol is dirty. You cannot disinfect something with alcohol. They say, right. So this I learned recently. I heard a lecture from Prabhupada. Prabhupada was saying that in the hospital they sterilize the instruments with alcohol. Prabhupada said, no, it's contaminating. So we have to see through Shastra. We cannot believe these people. Anyway, what do they know about cleanliness? About this? They don't even wash their butt with water after passing stool. What do they know about cleanliness, right? Of course, in India, a lot of people understand that. They know that you must wash with water. But in the West, no, they just use tissue paper. What kind of
They don't
cleanliness
wash
is this?
even their hands after coming from toilet.
You must take shower, actually. Not just even wash with water. We should actually take a shower completely, after doing this. That's why, part of our sadhana is that to be regulated, even in passing bowels. We should know that after passing bowel, I take shower, I get freshened up again, I apply the tilak and all. So they don't even take shower, they don't even wash with water, simply some paper. Let's say I put some stool on your hand, and then I'm giving you a little piece of paper and say, okay, you wash it up with this. Will you feel clean? As you wash up with a piece of paper, you'll be like, wow, I've got stool just now in my hand, I need to clean, with soap. And so they think they're clean, anyway. So even cleanliness, forget about it. It's so degraded, the age we live in. Of course, the bad things we can discuss for ages. Okay, now let me see. Okay, I will read a bit, so as the earth thus becomes crowded with a corrupt population, whoever among any of the social classes shows himself to be the strongest will gain political power. This is communist right here. Communist is actually Shudras. They want to make everybody equal. If everybody is equal, that means everybody's a Shudra, because you cannot be everybody equal. It's not possible. So you're trying to make everybody Shudra. So because now the Shudras are very strong, they've got all these big weapons, they gain the political power. There's no Kshatriyan control. And this 5,000 years ago they predicted. Losing their wives and properties to such a various and merciless rulers who will behave no better than ordinary thieves, the citizens will flee to the mountains and forests. So this will happen.
Afghanistan, Prabhu.
And
This happened in Afghanistan. They lost. They just took away women. Basically, they literally just did that in Afghanistan.
Oh, Afghanistan. Yeah, so these things will happen. Then, harassed by famine and excessive taxes, people will resort to eating leaves, roots, flesh, wild honey, fruits, flowers, and seeds. Struck by drought, they will become completely ruined. The citizens will suffer greatly from cold, wind, heat, rain, and snow. They will further tormented by quarrels, hunger, thirst, disease, and severe anxiety. All these things are coming. The maximum duration of life for human beings in Kaliyuga would be 50 years. And then, okay, you can read this again.
By the time age of Kali ends, the bodies of all creatures will be greatly reduced in size, and the religious principles of followers of Varnashrama will be ruined. The path of the Vedas will be completely forgotten in human society, and so-called religion will be mostly atheistic. The kings will mostly be thieves, the occupations of man will be stealing, lying, and needless violence, and all the social classes will be reduced to the lowest level of Shudras. Cows will be like goats, spiritual hermitages will be no different from mundane houses, and family ties will extend no further than the immediate bonds of marriage. Most plants and herbs will be tiny, and all trees will appear like dwarf sumi trees. Clouds will be full of lightning, homes will be devoid of piety, and all human beings will have become like asses. At that time, the Supreme Personality of Godhead will appear on the earth, acting with the power of pure spiritual goodness. It will rescue the eternal religion.
Okay, so of course this is towards the end of Kali Yuga, because the Kalki, Lord Kalki will appear, so then it speaks about how Lord Kalki appears. But about the fruits and all, I thought it would be mentioned there, but I guess it's not. Anyway, but Prabhupada often says it in his lecture. The cows won't give any milk anymore. The mango, Prabhupada says that the mangoes at one point the seed will be so big that you peel the mango and basically it's just the seed. There's no pulp anymore. So all these things are coming. So this is going to happen, and more Vanasankara. So now we've got this window of 10,000 years. This is our chance to leave, So yes, unwanted population means this atheistic rascals who don't follow the instructions of the Lord. That's all. Those who don't follow Varna Ashram Dharma. It's as simple as this. Varna Ashram Dharma is a great pyramid that leads to Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is spread through the whole Varna Ashram system, but it helps one achieve pure love of God. So this Varna Ashram Dharma is the only civilized society. Outside of this, there's no question of civilization. So at the moment, there's no civilization, and there's no actual good people. So it's a fact that the greatest majority of people at the moment are what we call unwanted population. They don't perform sacrifice for the ancestors, right? Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita chapter 1, he speaks of all this. If you kill the eldest member who protect religious principles in the family, women of the family become polluted. When women are polluted, they start to get involved in irreligion. When women get involved in irreligion, unwanted population is born. So this is what happens. All women practically are irreligious now. They have illicit sex with someone and some child is born. and that child will be born with demonic quality. He will grow up and again indulge in the 4 sinful activities. So that's why we're suffering so much. What is happening now, this whole thing is simply because there's an excessive amount of sinful activities being committed. There's just so much, we can see. Let me show you something. I think I might have showed this before. Okay, you see this? It has been 7 seconds. It has been 10 seconds. You see how many fish were killed, chicken, how many geese? They put it, they put the statistics in real number. This is not in real time. It's not very hard to do. So only in 25 seconds, how many cows have been killed? 250. Practically every second, 10 cows are killed. And you think that we can be happy in such a world where so much killing is going on? We're not even happening to 1 minute, and worldwide, more than 1 million fish have died. Not even a minute. So how much suffering they're inflicting to these poor animals, who are, after all, innocent. They are meant to be protected by us. We are like the big brother, for animals. And so much is happening, you see. So how can you expect? Sunagopa Prabhu did mention this. I think he said there was a verse, a verse that was spoken of. But of course, cow, it says that if you kill a cow, you have to suffer in hell as long as you have to be in hell for that long. So, cow is very, very sinful. Is the most sinful actually, because she's the most dear to the Lord, and she's like the mother. She gives milk. So just by speaking a little bit now about this, 2 minutes, 1,000 plus poor cows have been killed. So, and they speak of liberty, they speak of goodness, of freedom. What freedom can they accomplish? Nothing. If you break the laws of the Lord, you have to suffer, and that's bottom line. That's why Manu Samhita even said, if you give freedom to women, if you let women be free, independent, you must suffer. And everything we're experiencing here, one of the main dominoes that made everything else fall, it's freedom for women. You can link it all, because why we're suffering? Because of sins. Who is committing those sins? Unwanted population. Where does that unwanted population come from? From sinful women. Why are sinful women there? Because they're independent. And why they're independent? Because men lost their religious principles. So of course, it's not that we're saying it's women's fault, but definitely because of women independence, that whole feminism movement lead to this. So if you tell them, why COVID is there, is because of feminists. They will slap you, but it's a fact. It's one of the thing. Is one of the thing that is there. Of course, we're not going to be pointing so much on that thing, but it's one of the issues going on here. That's why Prabhupada, he was very strict about that in his classes. He said it, and women should not be independent. And he got so much heat from Western women, but we also have to speak like this boldly. Of course, when they come to the movement, especially Western women, when they come to the movement, we don't try to stress this too much because we don't want to be discouraging them. So we let them do service, and by doing service, they will get purified and slowly realize that this is a fact, that they require protection and they should not be independent. So that brings us back to the beginning of the topic that I was saying, that it's very important for us to get trained and be strong in our sadhana so that we can handle women. Because if we don't do so, we will be degraded to the mode of passion. Prabhupada said, if we see our wives as very, very beautiful, that means we're too attached. It's there in one purport. So we have to be ready to perform our duties in Grihastha ashram if we so wish to be married, but at the same time understand that after all, this is temporary. I might call her my wife, I might call them my children, but at one point I will have to leave and that body will die. So where would be the meaning of wife and children? So that has to be in the mind. And this is our duty, men's duty, because women, they cannot live thinking like this. They are mothers, they take care of the child. You tell them this is not your child, it's just too much for them. So therefore, for women, spiritual advancement is different. Krishna has given different manner to advance spiritually for men and women. For women, they must get a nice devotee husband. And by being married to such a good devotee husband, they will share the spiritual advancement. So this is it's a whole important science, and it's very good to study it and to get ready. So, okay, maybe we can discuss more. If you have any questions, we can talk a bit. Okay, Aditya Prabhu left us some time ago. I'm seeing the message now.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, yes.
Prabhu, what will happen to the people who are following Mlecha religions like Islam, Christianity, and they are completely focused on cow killing? How we can? What will happen to them if they are following those principles and they are they are more present to eat meat in the name of Jesus and like that, Prabhu?
And also, Prabhu, my question is a little related to that. That it is also predicted that all the other religions would join this movement. It is like said, as all the rivers join the ocean, so all the religions will join this religion.
Yeah. So just like you see, Prabhupada's disciples came from the Jews, the Christians, Hindus. So in this way, those who are truly attracted to understand who God is and really seek true knowledge, they will come to Krishna consciousness. So in this way, all religion will be merged. And not only this, sometimes you even see I saw that video, maybe you must have seen, a Christian old priest with a long beard, and wearing his black outfit and he was having kartals, and he was Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. He was chanting like this. So, Bhaktivinoda Thakur has seen this prediction. He saw it. So how will it manifest? I don't know to which great extent, I'm not seeing, but definitely anyone who is sincerely seeking the Lord will come to Prabhupada, will come to read Prabhupada's books. That is without a doubt. Now you're asking about those Muslims because they eat cows, right? Where did I see this? Lord Chaitanya Mahāprabhu spoke about this. Because you're eating cow, you're going to have. Is it? I'm not sure if it's in relation with Haridas Thakur, but Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was.
Prabhu, I'm just asking concern about the sinful effect of do they get sin or as said in their religions
yes,
that they can
Prabhu.
eat cow? Then
No. There's no. It's not that there's no true religion, Prabhu. There's no. What is religion? Dharmans to Sakshat Bhagavat Pranita. The laws given by Krishna is religion. Where do you find Krishna saying it's okay to kill cow? Where? There's no such thing as their religion. Krishna says, if you kill cow, you go to hell. That means if you kill cow, you go to hell. You might show me that book or this book or whatever you say, but it's not gonna work. You cannot transgress that. This whole thing of in our religion we can do this. Okay, let me see. I think it's here. Scholars. Okay, you can show. Yeah, you can show. Hopefully Dirash Prabhu is there, otherwise I don't know how I would show all this verse. Okay, miracle. In this way they all engage in. Okay, yes, that is there. Okay, you can read this. You can read translation and purport.
My dear Thakura Haridasa, in this age of Kali. Yes, Prabhu. Manju Prabhu.
Most people
It's cutting. We cannot hear very well. It's cutting, so we cannot we could not hear. So maybe someone else can take over.
Yes, Prabhu. My dear Thakura Haridasa, in this age of Kali, most people are bereft of the Vedic culture, and therefore they are called Yavanas. They are concerned only with the killing of cows and Brahminical culture. In this way, they all engage in sinful acts.
Okay, go to the next translation.
The next one is about haram.
Yeah. So this is one thing, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was feeling great anxiety, and he was thinking, how will they be delivered? And then Haridas Thakur tried to pacify him by saying they say haram. So Ram is there, So it's a fact that even by saying Ram, they become purified, but it's not like this. It doesn't work like that. That simply I'm saying haram, and you see, there's the story of that Muslim. Yes,
Prabhu.
Namabhas, because they are in the sense that there's no offense in the chanting of the holy name, but that doesn't mean that their entire life is purified. You see, so that Muslim who died screaming haram, yes, he got liberation somehow or other because he said Ram. But does that mean that every single Muslim will say Ram at the time of death? No, it's not like this. So this is actually, it's a pastime of the Lord to show how powerful chanting had it.
So is it that they have to have heard haram from a devotee and then they will get the benefit? Is that so?
Well, generally, this is how we're supposed to receive the Maha Mantra,
Hear the haram word, let's say suppose from a devotee, and then they say haram, then only it will affect. Maybe that might be the case.
I don't think it works like this. Even if they say Ram like this, it acts, because as he was saying, Namabhas, the chanting of Hare Krishna is so potent that anybody who says Krishna or even any name of the Lord accidentally will definitely get purified. The problem is that they're not surrendered, therefore they don't take to the process of purification. So the next moment, again, they commit sin and they become re-entangled again. So the point is not to just say Ram one time and then finish and you go back. This story is a particular incident where there was a Muslim, it's in the Narasimha Purana, I think. And that Muslim was being killed by a boar, and a boar, or a pig, is haram for Muslims, right? It's untouchable. So he was screaming haram, 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 and then he got killed by the wild boar. And because he's screamed Ram, he got liberated. But it's not like this for every single Muslim,
In
they won't die all. That was, sorry?
Prabhu, it was for previous Kaliyuga. It is like.
So yeah, it's possible. Yeah. So then that's it. So but it's not like this. If anybody chants the holy name of the Lord, it's so powerful that it liberates them, basically. Imperceptibly, they're liberated in the sense that there's no more sinful activities. But because there's no sinful reaction, but because the seed of sin is still in the heart, they will plant it again. Therefore, the heart has to be purified, not just the result of sins. We have to purify the seed and what is a seed? The seed is a desire. Therefore, until you have replaced your material desire with spiritual desire, you are conditioned. Even if for the momentarily you are liberated because you said Hare Krishna, still the next moment again you come back to sense gratification and you are again entangled. So the real liberation entices having only spiritual desire and nothing else. I'm trying to find that the Lord had an argument with a Muslim. It could be actually with Kazi, you know.
Yes, Prabhu, Chand Kazi.
Yeah, it could be in that argument he had.
Like it was like this in previous in previous ages, the Brahmanas used to sacrifice the cow for the new body, old cows.
Yes, he says that. Yeah, he said like that. In previous ages, there were some Brahmana who could sacrifice cow, but they would get a new body, you know. But then he said, in this age of Kali, it's forbidden. Anyone knows where is it?
It was with Chand Kazi.
Yes, so I guess it's in Adir. No, Chand Kazi. Okay, I think Adi 17, I think. Is it? The Kazi were much afraid. Okay, yeah, 7. Okay, Adi Lila, chapter 17, text 158. Do you want to show? So Adi 17, 158.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. Who wants to read?
As a learned scholar, the Kazi challenged Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in your Vedic scriptures, there is an injunction for killing a cow. On the strength of this injunction, great sages performed sacrifices involving cow killing.
Next one.
Refuting the Kazi's statement, the Lord immediately replied, the Vedas clearly enjoin the cows should not be killed. Therefore, every Hindu, whoever he may be, avoids indulging in cow killing.
Next.
In the Vedas and Puranas, there are injunctions declaring that if one can revive a living being, one can kill it for experimental purpose.
Next one. Continue.
Therefore, the great sages sometimes killed old cows by chanting Vedic hymns. They brought them back to life for perfection.
Vedic hymns. Yeah. Okay, 162.
The killing and rejuvenation of such old and invalid cows was not truly killing, but an act of great benefit. Formerly, there were powerful Brahmanas who could make such experiments using Vedic hymns, but now, because the Kaliyuga Brahmanas are not so powerful, therefore the killing of cows and the bulls for rejuvenation is forbidden.
Okay, then the 164, there's the 5 acts that are forbidden in this age.
In this age of Kali, 5 acts are forbidden: the offering of horse in sacrifice, the offering of a Khan sacrifice, the acceptance of order of sannyas, the offering of oblation of flesh to the forefathers, and man's begetting children in his brother's wife.
Just like Vyasadeva begot children in the queens on behalf of his brother, right? Okay, now the next verses is this 66, 166. I mean 165, sorry, 165 first.
Since you Muslims cannot bring killed cows back,
Okay, someone else can read maybe? Can someone else read?
Hare Krishna. Since you
Yes.
cannot bring killed cows back to life, you are responsible for killing them. Therefore, you are going to hell. There is no way for your deliverance.
So here you have your answer, Prabhu. You see? Okay, read the
Yes, Prabhu.
next few verses to understand better. Cow killers, yeah. Who wants to read?
cow killers are condemned to rot in hellish life for as many thousands of years as there are hairs on the body of the cow.
Next one.
There are many mistakes and illusions in your scriptures. Their compilers, not knowing the essence of knowledge, gave orders that were against reason and argument.
Just see. So here's the final conclusion of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You can continue reading. It's interesting how Kazi will reply. Kazi was a great man, great governor controlling all of Bengal.
After hearing these statements by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Kazi, his arguments stunned, could not put forward any more words. Thus, after due consideration, the Kazi accepted defeat and spoke as follows.
My dear Nimai Pandit, what have you said is all true. Our scriptures have developed only recently, and they are certainly not logical and philosophical.
So just see such a high caliber Muslim, very intelligent man. He has to be smart in order to be a managing government post. He's saying it. Yes, it's a fact. Our scripture has evolved recently, and they're not logical and philosophical. He's admitting it. Next one. Next verse.
Their scripture also encourages rape and molestation. So can people also start molestation on the basis of that kind of scripture or what?
Yeah, exactly. Next one, 171.
I know that our scriptures are fully of imagination and mistaken ideas. Yet because I am a Muslim, I accept them for the sake of my community, despite their insufficient support.
So this is a fact. Muslims are Muslims just because they're born Muslims. This is what it is. They are born and they have to remain Muslim because they have got so much pressure. Actually, there's this, in Europe, when we went to Germany, there's one devotee there named Mathurapati. So he tried to convince a Muslim to become a devotee of Krishna, and actually it worked. The Muslim did become a devotee of Krishna. He was starting to chant Hare Krishna, he was starting to read Prabhupada's books and all. But then, because he got so much pressure by his family, his friends and all, he had to give up. and he told Mathurapati Prabhu, he said, you know, I cannot come to the temple and all, but I believe that Krishna is God. So then now he keeps doing his prayer. You know, they have to do prayer 5 times a day, but he doesn't eat meat. And when he bows down and does his prayer, he thinks about Krishna. So maybe this is a bit of a glimpse of what Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur was saying, that this Muslim is merging in Krishna consciousness, but still he's remaining a Muslim. Yeah, so and not only this, even my mother, you know, my mother, she was Christian, and she has got a great attachment for Lord Jesus Christ, and that is correct. That is not wrong. Lord Jesus Christ is a pure devotee. We should not think that Lord Jesus Christ is white, and he's the guru of the white, and you know, our gurus are Hindu, and they're gurus for us. No, Lord Jesus Christ is a pure devotee also. It's just that he did not introduce pure devotional service. He had to speak in terms of pious activity so that people would, you know, understand, because he could not speak on too high levels. And that's why he showed so many miracles, right? Floating on the water, so many things, because people are, you know, emotionally attached to these things, and they would believe him, you know. So, so my mother is very much attached to Lord Jesus Christ, and even now she worships him. You know? So that is not wrong. It's okay. But she chants Hare Krishna also. So she's still, at heart, she's still a Christian. But you see, she's chanting Hare Krishna. At least she does 1 round every morning. So again, there's a sort of merging, you know, and she doesn't eat meat. So those who are like this and don't eat meat, because actually in all their scriptures, there is strong verses against meat eating. It's also there, you know. But of course, there's also verses supporting meat eating. So anyway, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said it. It's illogical. And it's been compiled by those who are not situated in proper knowledge. So anyway, this is it, Prabhu. You know, if you eat cow, it doesn't matter. You're Muslim, Christian, Hindu, whatever you are, you're brown, white, you go to hell. You cannot be excused, because there's only one God. There's only one rule. That's it. And you don't obey that, you break it, well, you have to suffer the consequences. You might be screaming on the top of your lungs that my religion, this, that. That's all right. Let's see at the time of death what happens to you. That's all. So sometimes they ask Prabhupada, but what about a true Christian? What about a true Muslim? What about him? And Prabhupada looked at his disciples. He said, are you not real Christians? So the meaning is this: if you're an actual real Christian, you will come to me. That's what Prabhupada's meant, you know. If you're a real Christian, you will come to Krishna, if you're very sincere. Yeah. Okay, so... Okay, now we have... Okay, Vishnu Prabhu has left also. So now, Dimitri Prabhu, my question is about criticism. I heard an opinion of one devotee that before criticizing someone, we should think, who are we and what have we achieved compared to the one we criticize? For example, if a person has preached a lot in the past, distributed a lot of books, attracted a lot of people to Krishna consciousness, but later he gave up this or fell down, but I'm a neophyte criticizing him for this, although I'm nothing compared to him. It sounds reasonable, that is, it is better to work on yourself than to find fault in others. He cited the example of a fallen Maharaj, that they had done a lot for the movement, even though they fell down later. He said, how can we know that Krishna will not protect them and save them at the moment of death? Quoting 240. Suppose they are great devotees and I'm nobody and I'm just sitting here criticizing them. So when is criticism appropriate? Whom can we criticize? Who can do this and how to do it properly? It turns out that I can't say anything about the person who, for example, preaches Mayavad or motivational stuff. I can't say that it's all nonsense just because I have just started my spiritual path and he has achieved more than me, right? Okay. So, yes, definitely to not criticize is a great quality. You know, we should not find fault in others. We should try to find fault in ourselves. First of all, you know, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he said also, do not creep in the frailties of others. You look into your own heart. Do you see greed in your heart? Do you see lust? Do you see anger, envy. So it's a fact that we should, first of all, look into our own heart instead of trying to point fingers. Criticism is never encouraged, definitely not. Now, there's a big difference between criticizing and pointing out deviations. So, you see, just like, the ISKCON gurus, right? They did some good service in the past also. When Prabhupada was there, they have helped Prabhupada push the movement. It's a fact. So that is there. We cannot criticize them for this. This spiritual merit that they got, it will always be there for them, because you cannot lose. Whatever positive thing you have done for Krishna is always with you. Now, we cannot use this to support current deviations. That is the problem here. They will speak like this, that this devotee has done so much, this devotee, okay, that's all right. Now, has the problem been fixed? If the problem is actually fixed and I keep criticizing, then I'm definitely wrong. But if the problem is not fixed, and you're saying, why are you criticizing? Because the problem is not fixed. And we are criticizing on the strength of Srila Prabhupada. We're not criticizing because we want to be better than others. No, Prabhupada is saying that there is a way to surrender to the Lord, and that is through the pure devotee. And that if you deviate from these instructions, you're fallen. One who disobeys the orders of the spiritual master is automatically fallen, Srila Prabhupada says. So actually it's not criticism. It is constructivism. We are trying to help them, to point out deviations in a system, for example, ISKCON, in a system that is completely bogus. Even though you might say, but that devotee did so much for Prabhupada. Yes, that is very nice. But is he doing this now? We want to see what you're doing at the moment. Now, of course, to be humble and to say, I'm just a neophyte devotee, how can I criticize this? That is a very good attitude. That is very good to think like this. But at the same time, when a devotee, there are some do's and don'ts, right? So don't criticize others. But at the same time, if your spiritual master is being offended, you must speak out. And if you don't, then you are at wrong. That is also there in Shastra. If the Lord is being offended, or the Lord's devotee is being offended, and I remain silent, I become implicated. I'm tinged with sin. So even though devotees are humble by nature, sometimes they must show the teeth. Arjuna did not want to fight, but Krishna forced him to become violent. Yudhishthir Maharaj, he was so humble that actually at some point it was almost too much. He did not want to fight at all, Even at the very end, he was pushed basically by Krishna to fight. At times we have to do these things. So we have to be careful to distinguish between humility and cowardness. These two things are kind of similar. When one is too humble, he also becomes a coward. And Vaishnavism is not cowardism. We must sometimes fight. And that means we must confront others. Confronting others is never fun. Nobody wants to have an argument with someone. Of course, we would all much prefer chant Hare Krishna and everybody is just happy. Everyone is just fully in the same line. Everybody thinks the same way. Everybody puts Prabhupada in the center and life goes on beautifully. But that's just not the case. Some people are there to exploit others. Some people are there to hurt the devotees in the garb of devotees, dressing like devotees but acting like demons. So what should we do? Even though such a person might have done bad. You see, like Indra. Lord Indra is a devotee. There's no doubt about that. Now, does a devotee try to drown pure devotees? Did he act like a devotee when he was throwing, torrents of rain on Yashoda Mai, Nanda Maharaj? No, he was acting like a demon. So does that mean that I should say, no, he's a devotee. Look, all the service he did for the Lord before. He's managing the whole water in the universe. It's so much service, there's so much pain to do this thing. He's doing great service before. So why should I criticize him? So you in this way, the person will let Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda Mai, all the pure devotees of Vrindavan being offended by that person. So what about them? You see? So that's the thing that we're saying. They say that we're offending these people by criticizing them, but what about their offense to Prabhupada? Which one is the greatest offense? Me offending you or you offending Prabhupada? Right? And us in the first place is not offensive. It's simply pointing out deviation, is defense. There's two things in fight. You offense and defense. If all of a sudden I come and I see one man punching another man, and I might be thinking, oh, he's offensive, he's attacking. But actually, I don't know the whole story. Maybe the other man punched that guy first without reason, and that man is actually just defending. So what we're doing is defending because the offense has already been done. They did the offense, and we're simply defending. So sometimes in defense means also it appears like offense, like that man who's simply defending himself by punching. So he appears to be attacking, but no, he's defending himself. So this is what we're doing. So our criticism is like this. It appears to be an offense, but actually it's a defense. And it has to be done carefully under the guidance of devotees who are capable of saying what is right, what is wrong, in accordance with Srila Prabhupada. Guru Sastra Sadhu, right? So, okay. So I hope this is, of course, this topic, we could speak a whole class on this. There's so much intricacies about offense and ways to deal with offensive people, not associate with them, stay afar. Then what our mentality should be for them. Should we hate them? No. It's not that we should hate them. We should pray to the Lord to help these people. But at the same time, it's okay to have anger towards these people, even though they're devotees. Even though they're devotee, it's okay to manifest anger against them because they are ruining the movement. What the work that Prabhupada did, they're messing it up. So our anger should be towards them. But at the same time, are we going to be keeping that anger in the heart and just be angry every day? No, because after all, we're the one losing also. We have to take care of our own spiritual life first. And if I'm always angry, then I'm hurting myself. So that's why we have to balance, We should pray actually for these people that my Lord, bestow their mercy upon them. And sometimes mercy for them is death. That's a fact. Because they're so offensive and they cannot get out of this offensive mentality that if they leave this body, it's good for them. Okay, like I said, we can speak a lot about this.
I pray for this mercy for all my family members. Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, they should not be so harsh, family members and offensive ISKCON gurus, there's a big difference. The offense that the ISKCON gurus are committing is very, very hard, whereas your family member are more on the innocent side. They are not very much understanding the whole picture. And plus they have you as a son, so they're very fortunate in that end also. Anyway, keep praying to the Lord to make arrangement. This is one of the most important aspects. Sami is saying, my brother called Prabhupada and Krishna demons. Yeah, so that's why with family member, don't talk about Krishna. Don't speak about Krishna. Don't speak about the devotees, And when they become offensive like this, just go away. You better just go away, because if you start to scream, then it'll just escalate. Nobody will settle. They won't all of a sudden change, I'm very sorry. Yes, you're right. Krishna is God. No, that won't happen. So better just ignore. Don't speak about this topic with family member who are in opposition to Krishna, Better let it cool down and you do your thing and you pray to Krishna to make arrangement. That is the best way to go about it. Okay, thank you very much. I've taken a lot of your time, so we hope we have not bored you too much with this session. So thank you for inviting me, and I hope we'll see each other again.
Thank you so much for a kind association.
Thank you. Anantakuti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Go Prabhu.
Also, Prabhu, I found your previous lecture was also very helpful, Prabhu. That the modes of bhakti, and that was also very, very nice, Prabhu. Really liked it.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, and thank you all for trying to become Krishna conscious more and more. This is what makes a devotee the most happy, that when one tries to become a devotee sincerely. So thank you very much for being sincere. Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Jai
Thank you,
Shri
Prabhu.
Prabhupada.
Jai Shri Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much for your association, Prabhu.